Hello, everybody. Curt Menefee, along with David Koechner, and at least for a little bit, because she's waiting to go out. She's staring at the door for her walk. Come here, Abby. Come here. Come here, Abby. Come here, sweetie. Come up here. Come on up. Come on. Can you look at the camera? Abby. Well, she's facing backwards. Abby, come on. Up here. Come on. Come on. Come all the way up. Here we go. This is
folks in our show. Dogs are welcome. Dogs
Black
are
Lab Abby. I've got a border collie, excuse me, I call him border collie, a French bulldog corgi mix, Toby, who's 6 years old as well. They're both waiting for their dog, waiting for mommy to take them out. So I got to let Abby out the door. But David will tell you just how excited he is for the premiere tonight of season 2 of America's Top Dog on A&E, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 Central. David, you take it away while I let Abby out the door. Come on.
I'm very excited. You know, when we did the show before, Curt, we had such a great time. I'm excited just to see how it got put together. I know that so they had told us that, you know, Curt and I would just sit up there and talk forever about different things between the runs of the dogs. And they told us, oh, by the way, we just leave your mic on. We're getting really good stuff. Who knows what we might use? Curt once told me a story of how he met the king of Siam. So this could be a very interesting show. Not
it was
only
the king
about
of Congo,
dogs,
but that's okay.
but also about geography.
Yes. You may learn anything when you tune into an episode of America's Top Dog. I think that's the bottom line right there. Season 2 premieres tonight, 8 o'clock, 7 Central. And I think one of the things that, you know, we take a look at it and you see, you know, I've got 2 dogs that we've mentioned. You've seen one of them. David, you've got how many dogs?
We have 2. We recently, our oldest dog had to move on.
All right. Well, sorry to hear, because we know it's like a member of the family. But
it's the first time our kids had to go through that.
No,
but yeah, we have a Labradoodle and a Golden Doodle. Neither one of which are here. They're at the other person's house.
Okay. Well, this has turned out to be a really uplifting segment, thanks to David.
Do you want to talk about mortality?
Yeah, exactly. Please. All right. So as you can see, though, we're both dog lovers, and I think that most people. I'm shocked that more people aren't. Whenever I hear someone who's not a dog lover, I'm like, how are you not a dog lover? And I understand people have different experiences in their life. But I think that the fact that we both love dogs made this a natural transition for at least for me, and I think for David as well, because when you do this show and we see all the different animals, all the different dogs, the different breeds, and I think one of the great things, and we'll get more into the competition and exactly what it is this year, but you see this and you get to pick a dog, you get to root for it, and that becomes your dog for the moment, except then you can't really, David, root against the other dogs, can you?
Not really. I mean, you're rooting for everybody.
Yeah.
And the humans.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's one of the great things is, look, season 2 of America's Top Dog, we have 6 dogs who start out in the competition in 3 different categories, and they go head-to-head with the winner of each category advancing into the finals. The 3 categories are the police canines, so you have 2 go head-to-head, then working dogs, and that can be anything from, we had one that was trained to sniff mussels because they're invasive species along ports. We've had ones that find cadavers. We have therapy dogs. So these are dogs that are actually trained to work and use their nose to find different things. They go head to head. And then there's the underdog category, which everybody loves because those tend to be more like the family pet. And those are the poodles and the Labradoodles and every mixed breed you can find that people are just trained to kind of run the course. And it's fun. We get to see them run this giant obstacle course. I mean, this set is huge. And we get to see animals and dogs do things that you would like to believe your dog can do, but I don't know if mine can, no matter how much training.
Our dog can sit.
Yeah. And that doesn't really help you in a timed event, because if you sit too long, then the clock is running.
No, it's incredible. Like, for me to come to this, I was so unfamiliar with the myriad of breeds. And so that was fascinating. But to hear the jobs that a lot of these dogs have, and what they can be specifically trained to do is really remarkable. You know, recently I heard that they are training dogs to be able to detect COVID. Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that just blows my mind.
Well, you know, and I think that's one of the great things about the show is because we see the dogs and they're all competing. They're playing beat the clock and they're running this obstacle course and they're jumping over obstacles and they're swimming through the water and they're running through tunnels and all these things that you see them doing, trying to do it faster than the previous dog or the dog that's going to follow them. But we also learn so much about these dogs, as you talked about a little bit, about what they can be trained to do and the services that they provide and the jobs, literally the jobs that they have. And it opens your eyes up maybe in a way that a lot of people hadn't seen these dogs before. When you see a dog just walking down the street, or even if you see one at its job, you don't think about it being someone's pet or it going out and having a good time, and you get a chance to see dogs do this.
Right. And some of the dogs, you know, had been in movies and stuff like that, in show business. Yeah. So, of course, I'm up there, you know, grumbling like, oh, dog's got a better career than I do.
It probably took a part from you somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. How come I didn't get that? Exactly. Why wasn't I an Air Bud too?
We were up for the same role that time. You know, but it really is enjoyable. And I think that's one of the things, you get to see these dogs in a different environment. And I've said it before, the canine category is one I really enjoy because I think so often we see police dogs just when, you know, they're being police dogs and they're working and they're trying to do crowd control or we see them on the news, whatever. And in this circumstance, you get to see them be a family pet. They're out there running and playing just like every other dog. And we do these little features and vignettes throughout the show that tells you about these dogs and the handlers and their backstories and their home lives. And you get a chance to see these police dogs play with the kids at home and go play fetch and do these kinds of things. And again, just another opportunity, I think, to open people's eyes into the variety, not only of breeds of dogs, but in personalities of dogs as well.
Yeah, and it's remarkable to watch the discipline they all have. Not only the trainers, of course, but the dogs too, because this is not a course they've run a bunch of times. They get a couple of runs at it.
Yeah, they get to go the day before. They get to run the course just so they're familiar with it. Right.
And then now it's dark. You've got tons of other dogs around, which I can't even imagine how much that must throw the dog off. And then the lights are, bright. And it's a whole different environment. So for that discipline, I thought was very interesting that they're able to manage to even do it.
I think
I would get lost going to the bathroom.
Well, I'm trying to think. Did we have one? I think we had one that kind of stopped in the middle of the course because he had to go to the bathroom.
There was a dog. Yes, that was a very funny night.
Yeah.
The dog, and because if a dog does go for a minute, there's that hope, like, okay, could still possibly compete. But after 5 minutes, this dog's out. This dog will not have a qualifying time.
But I think it's one of the things that reminds you, though, that these are dogs. It's like we all have our pets, and we've done it before. You take your dog, and you can teach them this trick or how to run from point A to point B. I had our two dogs race, and one's a 50-pound lab who's 10 years old, and the other's a 30-pound mix who's 6. And the little dog, he's so competitive. He outruns the big dog all the time. But you do that, and then the one time you want to show them off to people, hey, watch this trick, watch this trick. That's when they both go wandering in totally different directions. You're like, okay, that's right. They're still in charge. They're still dogs.
Yeah, there you go.
They're going to do their thing no matter what. Do you have any stories that you stood out to you, or any dog or team, David, that really
for our show?
People?
It's the thing that is, I don't know, the ones that seem to have the deepest bond are often the canines because they've been with their handler for so long, and you can really see that relationship's a very deep bond. That's unlike anything else I had seen in that throughout the competition. So that was really interesting to see. And there were a couple of former officers who had come back for one run, and it's fun to see them. So then they were a canine, maybe a pro or whatever, but they're coming back for the final run. Really, they come out of retirement.
Yeah,
we had a couple come out of retirement, I think.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. And I think it may be the first episode if not the first, the second episode. So you'll see it the first night for sure. We had two police officers or law enforcement officers who worked for the same department, and they were going head to head in the canine competition. One was the supervisor, the other was the subordinate. And if you've ever wanted to go out and beat your boss at doing something, this was a chance that he had, and he got to do it on national TV, go head to head and have a shot at beating his boss. I won't tell you how it came out, but this could be every person's dream, at least to have the chance, to do it.
But do you remember they had a wager?
Fall down at the end.
Curt, they had a wager, remember?
Yeah. About time off, right?
Well, was it that, or was it you had to wash the other person's car for a week or something like that?
That may have been that one, because we had a couple of them. We also had a husband and wife team that they had two working dogs, and so they competed. This is later on in the season, and their honeymoon would be decided off of which one had the one with the dog and that kind of thing.
So yes, really oftentimes there was a lot more at stake than we knew.
Yes, exactly. We had, you talk about, I remember one dog, and I think this may be certainly the first night as well. I think the dog was named Theo, and a poodle mix of some kind, but a bigger dog. And it's a therapy dog, but it was a therapy dog for the handler that runs with the dog that night, because when she was a child, she had a bad encounter with German Shepherds. And so she grew up with a fear of dogs and wound up deciding, okay, I want to try and get a dog. And she got this big poodle who, lick your face and gentle and this kind of thing, and wound up bonding with this dog. Now she owns 3 German Shepherds on top of that. But this dog helped her get over her fear. And I think that's another cool thing about it, is you get to see not only the bond between the dog and the human, but the backstories and why sometimes these, two people and dog have gotten together and what brought them together. Sometimes it's the human that rescued the dog, but more often you find it's the dogs that rescue the humans. And just that story that we get from each and every team, I think is something that makes it even more emotional when you watch them compete together, and it gives you a reason to root for each team.
Yeah, there's a tender story every night, that's for sure.
And often funny, and sometimes both. Yeah, so I think that's one of the great things about it. When you take a look, was there anything that first of all, can you explain the set to people that have never seen it? Because like the first time you saw it, I'm sure, because I've seen last year's version. This year's set is even bigger. There are more obstacles. They're able to trade parts in and out so that it's not the same course every single night. But I'd love to hear, because we've never really talked about your impression when you first saw that set.
Well, first of all, like you said, it's huge. Mm-hmm. And it's got so many different challenges. There's always a long run from the beginning, and that changes out throughout the show. They could be walls they have to go over. Sometimes they have to jump up and pull a tug. Sometimes they have to knock dominoes down. A few times there is a long tube run. There's always the pool in the end, the jump, which is always fun. And then, of course, there's the scent room where you have to go through and identify or find the certain scents in the room. There's the climb where the dog has to go separate from the owner to get to the top of the next level. So it's very intricate.
Was there anything that impressed you about it? You want to build one in your backyard?
The teeter-totter, maybe. That's what I'm calling it.
The zigzag where you have to have the human and dog go over together, and it changes. It is like a teeter-totter. And so it shows you the trust level that's there. And I think you brought up one that I hadn't thought about, but we have to climb the stairs and then they separate. That was one of the more challenging parts, because we talk about this bond between the human and the dog, and you see it throughout the entire course. And then there's one spot where you say the dog has to go this way and follow instructions, and the human has to go that way. And if you've ever been around your dog, you know how hard it is sometimes to get them to leave your side, especially when you get them excited and they're doing something. And that proved to be a challenging part of the course as well.
And it was interesting to see different trainers use different strategies how to make that particular one work.
Yeah.
Like they thought this through, like, I'm going to get my dog up there because I know the dog won't leave my side. So it was interesting to see a lot of strategy going on.
Yeah, because it's based off of time. So you've got to figure out the fastest way through this course in order to do it. David, when you take a look back, is there one moment that stands out for you? Because for me, it's so hard to pick one. I mean, we just had so many great stories with the different dogs and different humans. We saw, you mentioned the one dog that wandered off the course, but then when people went to catch it, it thought it was playing a game, so it was having fun. We saw, was a 17-pound dog we had competing against a 100-pound dog in the same event. And so just to watch the different breeds try to tackle the same course. I mean, there's so many things I can think of. I don't know if I could pick just one moment that stands out for me.
Yeah, that's really tough. We had a couple nights where, for whatever reason, there were 2 or 3 dogs that were setting course records and they were going head to head. On any other night, one of those dogs would have been the champion, but because on this particular night, they were all in the same show, that was fascinating because they were just blazing through.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty interesting. When we're getting that wrapped up, like about the times, it's a fun show.
And it's important because, the winner of each episode, and you talk about that night where so many kept setting the course records, but at the end of the show, only one could win that episode. And the winning team gets $10,000 for winning that night, plus $5,000 donated to the animal charity of their choice. Then they get to come back for the season finale to compete, where the winner gets $25,000 and a donation to the animal charity of their choice. So this is not just about bragging rights. This is about straight cash, homie, as Randy Moss once said. Donating money to animal charities, and so you get a good time that leads to a good cause. And I think that makes it even more involving, as a viewer, when you watch that, because you know that this dog has this animal charity, and maybe that's one that you want to support or that you want to make sure gets a chance to do it. But you also have a rooting interest in dogs for other reasons. And it does come down to sometimes you see these nights where, wow, on any other night, this dog would have won the 10 grand, but he ran on the night where some dog was just a half a hair faster, or 2 or 3 dogs were, and you feel sorry for that team that night.
Or they might be faster than anybody throughout the whole course. Then they get to the diving pool, and the dog's like, I'm not going in there.
Right. Yeah.
We've seen trainers jump in the pool to get the dog to jump in the pool. It's even though it's early fall, it's very, not very cold here. The water's cold.
Yeah. Well, and especially if you've got to be the first one in, but whatever it takes to finish the course, my man. If
That's
you got to
right.
jump in to make your dog finish, we saw people do that on a regular basis. Again, America's Top Dog Season 2 premieres tonight, 8:00 Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on A&E. 2 episodes tonight, and then each and every Tuesday on A&E at 8:00. You can make sure to catch new episodes and get a chance to see David do his thing, because that's really what the dogs are secondary almost.
Speaking of dogs, don't you also have another dog-related show coming up?
Well, now that you mentioned it, yes. Starting next Tuesday, July 6th on A&E, it will be the premiere of An Animal Saved My Life, which is another show that includes dogs and birds and sea lions and all kinds of things. It's a great show. We got a clip I'm going to show you, but the premise of it is you take video, which we have video of everything this day. It's cell phone video sometimes, it's a remote camera, it's hidden cameras, and it's animals saving people. Sometimes they save other animals too, I should say. But usually it's saving people from a robbery, or from drowning, or from falling down a mountain, or a burning building. And we had one dog that in remote Alaska, the house caught on fire, woke the family up in the middle of the night. The family called 911, but they lived in this remote place. And we have the state trooper talking about it, how he was trying to find their home. And he noticed at the end of the road, there was this dog sitting there. So he said, my instinct was to follow this dog. And this dog took him down this remote road, then down another turn, and he found the house and was able to save the people. The dog went back. The firefighters hadn't gotten there yet because the state troopers did. The firefighters arrived at the house, and the firefighter told the cop, he goes, you won't believe how I got here. He goes, oh yeah, I will. The dog came and So it's amazing that you get those situations. And we had one situation where a man jumped off of the Golden Gate Bridge, wanted to kill himself, and said midway down, he decided he didn't want to die, changed his mind. Hit the water, broke his back in 3 places. Couldn't swim because he couldn't move. A sea lion And if you've ever been around sea lions, they can be nasty, bitter, mean animals. But came underneath him, pushed him back up to the surface of the water, and held him there. He said for 5-6 minutes, held him there till the Coast Guard came and saved him and then took off. Coast Guard told him, this is unbelievable. You know, we can't tell you how few people we put on this water alive, and to have a sea lion help you is absolutely unbelievable. The guy went on, recovered, started speaking around the country about mental health, suicide prevention, and has received, according to him, thousands of letters from people saying that I was thinking about it until I saw you speak and you saved my life. Think about this.
Wow, that's
this
amazing.
Sea lion saved him. He went on to save thousands of other people. So that sea lion could directly be responsible for thousands of lives being saved. And not all the stories are sad or emotional like that. Some are just fun. But An Animal Saved My Life, it premieres 9 o'clock next Tuesday, and we'll be running from that point on each and every Tuesday night right after America's Top Dog, back to back on A&E. I think they've got a clip here.
Hosted by Curt Menefee, gives a death-defying look at the animals who step up when we need help the most. Witness these unexpected heroes.
Good boy, Storm.
Caught on camera.
My dog saved my life.
An Animal Saved My Life, a new series, starts Tuesday, July 6th, only on A&E.
And it's a fun show, David. You'll certainly enjoy it.
Yeah, that's awesome. A&E's got a killer lineup, gang.
That's right.
We're going to own the summer.
There you go. You don't need to touch your, well, I was going to say touch your dial. Nobody has a dial anymore, okay? So
I know. Yeah. But I know what it means.
You don't have to touch your remote. How about that?
Yes.
On Tuesday nights, put it on A&E, America's Top Dog, 8 o'clock, followed by An Animal Saved My Life starting next week at 9 o'clock. But season 2 of America's Top Dog begins tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 Central. Can't wait for you to see it. David and I had a blast doing it. It was fun working with David, and I think you'll have a fun time watching it too.
Yes, we did have a blast. So, but it's for the entire family. And who don't like dogs?
Amen
right?
to that, brother. It is. That's a good point. It's one of the shows you can sit down and you can sit with the kids, you can sit with the grandma. Everybody watches it. You don't have to worry about words that are said. You don't have to worry about explaining anything to anybody. You can root for your dog. Each person in the house can take a different one and have a little competition within yourself. But it's just a fun night. It's just fun watching television. I'm so proud to be a part of it. And glad to be with you always, David, man. You made the show fun this year.
You know what I like? I know that in every home in America that's watching this show, there's going to be a younger kid who's going to try to train that dog in the living room that night.
Yes. Obstacle courses will be set up in backyards all across America.
I'll bet they will. Yeah.
They will for sure. All right, we'll see you tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 Central, for the Season 2 premiere of America's Top Dog.
America's Top Dog is back with a new course,
Down go the dominoes.
new
This is
breeds,
my Jack Russell Terrier.
Black Lab.
Border collie.
Bulldog.
and a new co-host.
I want to throw to the dog. Like that. Oh. Good boy. Good boy.
Plus a brand new format with head-to-head matchups between canines, underdogs, and working dogs.
Oh.
Every run counts.
This little underdog is flying now.
Can they beat the clock? Yes.
An A&E original series, America's Top Dog. New episode tonight at 8 on A&E.